Listen closely, because this message may reach you only once. August 21st is not just a date on the calendar. It is a moment when unseen currents converge, when quiet forces move, choosing those who are ready. Some of you may feel a stirring deep within, a pull you cannot name. That is the sign. That is the signal the universe sends to the prepared. Today I will guide you through truths rarely spoken, lessons often hidden behind the noise of ordinary life. You will learn why some souls are called to paths of clarity and courage, why certain challenges arrive not to break you, but to awaken you. This video reveals the subtle principles of Shaolin wisdom, the practices of mindfulness that sharpen perception, and the paths of personal mastery that prepare a chosen one for moments of profound significance. Most do not see it, but even small shifts in awareness ripple outward. Ancient masters understood this. The quiet, disciplined mind can sense opportunity, danger, and truth long before the world announces it. You will discover why solitude is not punishment but a training ground, why stillness holds power greater than motion, and why the courage to face risk is the hallmark of those who are truly chosen. By the end of this journey, you will know how to recognize the signals, how to act with intention, and how to align with forces larger than fear. This is not about chance. It is about readiness, attention, and inner strength. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Here, we explore the paths of mastery, awareness, and discipline. Subscribe now to walk this path with us, to awaken the chosen within, and to embrace the challenges that reveal who you truly are. Stay with me, because what follows could change how you see everything. There is a quiet power that speaks without sound, a force felt only when the world falls away and the mind finds stillness. And in the silence of disciplined practice, you begin to understand what true strength really is. Shaolin masters have long taught that calmness is not weakness. It is the foundation upon which clarity stands. In the eye of stillness, the mind sharpens like a blade forged in patience and fire. Think of a river flowing over rocks. On the surface, it moves with force, sometimes crashing, sometimes churning, but beneath, the current is steady, purposeful, and unshakable. The same is true for the mind trained in calmness. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means seeing everything. Each thought, each impulse, each moment of chaos is observed without being carried away. Decisions become precise, perception becomes acute, and even in uncertainty, the path forward reveals itself. In training halls, hidden among mountains, I have watched monks move with a speed and certainty that seemed impossible. Their steps are measured, their hands steady, their awareness complete. It is not the strength of muscle that grants them power, it is the mastery of mind. When the body acts from a place of inner calm, energy flows effortlessly, and choices align with the truth of the moment. Even in the modern world, the lesson remains. The noise of life tempts you to act hastily, to react without thought, to confuse movement with progress. But true mastery asks you to pause, to breathe, to anchor yourself in the quiet. In that stillness, clarity emerges. The right words come, the right action appears, and the illusions of urgency fade. The mind becomes a landscape free of fog, where every step forward is seen before it is taken. There is a moment every day when the mind whispers for ease, when desire calls louder than reason. Mastery begins precisely where that whisper is resisted, where impulse meets its quiet refusal. Ancient Shaolin halls were built not merely with stone, but with countless repetitions of small acts, each one shaping the practitioner's inner landscape. It is in these subtle choices, repeated with devotion, that character is formed. A monk rising before dawn does not act for recognition or reward. The rhythm of the day is its own teacher. Simple movements, sweeping the floor, striking the bag, bowing in meditation, each seems small, but they are deliberate. Each moment of attention, each choice to stay the course instead of succumbing to comfort, accumulates into a force unseen by the eye, but felt deeply within. Desire tempts with shortcuts, with the promise of ease, but discipline does not bend to temptation. It moves steadily, faithfully, and in its quiet persistence, it guides toward purpose. Consider the river that carves valleys through rock. It does not rush, It does not take shortcuts. Each drop follows its path, consistent, unyielding. Over time, the landscape itself yields to its patient power. So too does a disciplined mind shape destiny. Each decision made in awareness, each habit repeated without haste, builds a foundation stronger than any external force. This is the paradox of mastery. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself with fanfare or speed. It is quiet, subtle, and almost invisible at first. Yet it moves with inevitability. When the moment comes that demands strength, clarity, or courage, it is the one who has cultivated inner mastery through daily effort and repeated attention who stands unshaken. Desire may call, temptation may beckon, but the disciplined soul walks steadily, carrying itself toward the life it was meant to lead. There is a space between people, a quiet gap that many fear, yet it holds the seeds of awakening. Solitude is not a punishment, it is a tool, carefully honed by those who seek mastery over themselves. In the rhythm of daily life, attachment tugs constantly, friends, family, possessions, even habits. They shape perception, cloud judgment, and bind the spirit to patterns that are not always its own. To step back, even briefly, is to regain clarity. Ancient masters retreated to mountains, forests, and empty halls, not to escape but to listen. In silence, the surface of the mind smooths, and beneath it, the deeper currents of understanding begin to move. Thoughts that once demanded reaction now reveal their purpose. Emotions once entangled in judgment unwind, showing their hidden lessons. In this space, the voice of the deeper self becomes audible, a subtle guidance that no distraction can offer. Solitude teaches patience. It is a mirror that reflects without distortion, showing both strengths and weaknesses with perfect honesty. The practitioner learns to observe without clinging, to feel without being controlled, to act from insight rather than impulse. And there is another quiet gift. The awareness that forces beyond ordinary perception are always present. The universe, nature, even the subtle rhythms of energy respond to the mind trained to notice. This practice does not demand grand gestures. Even a single hour of deliberate stillness can reveal patterns invisible in the noise of daily life. Over time, the soul learns to move through the world with a steadiness born of this inner listening. Attachment softens, fear diminishes, and clarity becomes a constant companion. In solitude, mastery grows not through isolation, but through the courage to step aside, to watch, and to understand the currents that guide both self and life itself. There is a space inside each of us that is untouched by noise, untouched by circumstance. It is small at first, easily overlooked, yet it is the seat of true power. Mindfulness is the path to that space, a practice that protects and empowers. To observe thoughts without clinging, to notice emotions without reacting, is to build a shield against the chaos that swirls in the world outside and within. Ancient Shaolin masters understood this well. In the heat of training or battle, the mind that reacted impulsively was vulnerable. The mind that watched, measured, and moved from awareness was untouchable. Each breath, each step, each motion became a deliberate act, rooted in presence rather than distraction. This is not control in the sense of suppression. It is mastery born of understanding. Thoughts and feelings arise, but they do not dictate action. They are recognized, acknowledged, and allowed to pass, like clouds drifting over a calm sky. Through mindfulness, the ordinary becomes profound. A single moment of attention can reveal the subtle currents of life, the way energy flows in a room, the way tension gathers in the body, the quiet signals of danger or opportunity. Awareness becomes more than observation, it becomes sovereignty. The mind ceases to be a servant to every impulse or external influence. It becomes a center, steady, clear, and capable of guiding every action with precision. This practice is patient work. It grows through repetition, through the discipline of returning again and again to presence. Even in ordinary daily tasks, walking, eating, speaking, mindfulness strengthens the mind's capacity to remain unshaken. And in that calm, deliberate awareness, a person discovers something remarkable. The world does not dictate their state. They do. Each thought observed, Each emotion acknowledged without reaction is another stone laid in the foundation of inner freedom. There comes a moment when the path is unclear, when the horizon is hidden in shadow and every step feels uncertain. Chosen ones do not wait for clarity to arrive. They move despite the unknown. Fear will rise. It always does, but it is not a barrier. It is a signal, a guide pointing to what matters most, revealing the edges where courage must step forward. Ancient warriors and sages understood this intimately. They faced storms, enemies, and internal doubt, yet the measure of their path was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act in alignment with conscience and principle. When the mind is anchored in what is right, even the faintest step carries weight. Hesitation, by contrast, dilutes destiny. It clouds perception, weakens resolve, and allows opportunity to slip past. Action rooted in discipline and clarity becomes a force that resonates far beyond the individual, shaping the currents of life itself. Consider the mountain streams that carve valleys over centuries. Each drop of water moves forward, despite obstacles, despite uncertainty. Each small motion contributes to a larger pattern that cannot be rushed. So too with the chosen soul. Each deliberate action, taken in awareness and guided by principle, accumulates into momentum that cannot be stopped. This is not reckless bravado, it is measured courage. It requires listening deeply to inner wisdom, to the lessons of experience, to the quiet guidance of forces beyond ordinary perception. It asks for patience, attention, and integrity. And yet, it demands movement. The universe recognizes readiness not in hesitation, but in decisive steps taken with awareness. Fear is felt, but it does not command. The chosen move forward, and in that motion destiny begins to unfold. There is a rhythm to life that mirrors the pulse of nature itself, alternating between motion and stillness, effort and pause. Shaolin practice teaches that mastery cannot exist in extremes. Action without reflection is reckless. It charges forward blind to consequence. Reflection without action is stagnant. It gathers insight but never manifests it in the world. True progress lies in the balance between the two. Ancient masters moved through this rhythm naturally. In training halls, their bodies struck with precision, but their minds were silent and observant. Each motion was paired with a breath of awareness, each step tempered by insight. The student who learned to act without thought stumbled. The student who thought without acting remained untested. Only the one who harmonized movement and pause discovered the depth of mastery. Even beyond the halls, in daily life, this principle endures. Every decision, every pursuit demands both courage to move and wisdom to reflect. The river does not rush blindly, nor does it freeze entirely. It flows, occasionally pausing in pools, reflecting the sky above before continuing its journey. So too does the disciplined mind cultivate periods of stillness to understand, absorb, and integrate, and then moves with intention to shape reality. The balance is subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye, yet those who practice it develop a clarity that seems effortless. They do not act out of reaction or hesitation. Each gesture, each choice, emerges from alignment between insight and purpose. Strength arises not solely from the body or the mind, but from the space where they meet, where thought informs action and action deepens understanding. In this harmony, mastery is no longer a goal, but a lived reality, a continuous flow where movement and pause exist as partners, guiding every step forward. There is a weight that most carry unknowingly, a pull that bends perception and narrows vision. It is attachment, the clinging to people, outcomes and ideas that seem vital but distort the mind. Shaolin teachings remind us that judgment becomes clouded when the heart is bound too tightly. To act clearly, one must learn the art of detachment. Detachment is often misunderstood as coldness or indifference. True detachment is not a withdrawal from life. It is a sharpening of awareness. It allows the mind to see without distortion, to move without being bound by fear or desire. The masters practiced this daily. Each strike, each stance, each breath performed with complete presence, free from the distraction of expectation. In this freedom, action becomes precise, energy flows naturally, and purpose aligns with effort effortlessly. Consider the archer who lets go of the bowstring without clinging to the arrow's flight. The shot succeeds not because of grasping, but because the release is complete. Attachment would make the hand tense, the mind anxious, the aim faltering. Detachment, in contrast, brings focus, balance, and effortless power. Life operates in much the same way. When outcomes are grasped too tightly, every decision becomes heavy, every choice second-guessed. When the mind learns to release, to allow things to unfold as they will, clarity emerges. This practice is subtle but transformative. It does not remove responsibility or effort. It changes the quality of both. Actions are no longer forced, strained, or overanalyzed. Energy meets opportunity. Timing aligns with readiness, and each movement resonates with intention. In detachment, the chosen path becomes visible, not through control, but through harmony. The currents of life begin to carry those who move with awareness, rather than pushing against them, and mastery is expressed not in struggle, but in effortless alignment. There is a quiet truth that every master learns over time. Power that is not shared is empty. Strength, skill, and knowledge gain meaning only when they serve something beyond the self. A chosen life is not a stage for ego or recognition. It is a field for impact, a space where purpose meets responsibility. The measure of mastery is not what you can take, but what you can give. Ancient Shaolin monks trained with this understanding. Their bodies were strong, their minds sharp, their discipline unyielding, but none of it existed for personal pride. Every movement, every lesson, every act of endurance was meant to prepare them to serve, to guide those who struggled, to protect the vulnerable, to teach wisdom quietly, and to act with integrity in a world that often rewards selfishness. In service, the soul is tested more deeply than in any solitary challenge. Consider the river again. Its strength is evident in currents and flow, but its true purpose is revealed in the life it nourishes along its banks. The water does not boast. It simply supports, sustains, and gives. So too does mastery find its deepest expression in contribution. Power confined to self becomes rigidity. Skill held in isolation dulls. But when knowledge, discipline, and courage are shared, the ripple spreads farther than the individual could ever reach. This is the subtle practice that transforms mastery into legacy. Each choice to help, each moment of guidance, each act of protection is a reflection of inner strength applied outward. Those who pursue a path of awareness and discipline understand that the final test is not the mastery of form, thought, or skill. It is the ability to move in alignment with a higher purpose, to make the world better by being fully present and fully committed. True mastery is measured not in achievement alone, but in the lives touched and the goodness extended beyond oneself. There is a harmony that underlies all true mastery, a balance that cannot be achieved by focusing on one aspect of life while neglecting the rest. Shaolin philosophy teaches that strength of body alone is incomplete, meditation without action is hollow, and virtue without discipline is fragile. True mastery is holistic. It weaves together meditation, physical training, and ethical conduct into a life capable of extraordinary clarity and resilience. In the mountains, monks rise before dawn. Their practice is not random. It is deliberate, encompassing the body, mind, and spirit. Meditation centers the mind, allowing thought to settle and perception to sharpen. Physical training strengthens the body, building endurance, precision, and the ability to act without hesitation. Ethical conduct, often unseen, shapes character, ensuring that power is guided by integrity rather than impulse. Each element supports the others. A sharp mind enhances physical skill. Strength without wisdom can be destructive. Compassion without discipline falters in challenge. Integration is the key. Fragmented focus creates tension. A person who meditates but ignores action may remain wise in theory, but powerless in reality. One who trains the body but neglects reflection may strike hard yet move blindly. Ethical conduct without cultivation leaves the heart susceptible to ego. Only through harmonizing all three can the practitioner move with certainty, clarity, and effectiveness. This holistic approach is subtle yet transformative. It teaches that mastery is not achieved through shortcuts or singular effort. Every thought, every movement, every choice contributes to the formation of a complete self. The world will test endurance, perception, and morality, often all at once. Those who have cultivated body, mind, and spirit move through these tests with alignment. They do not stumble because they are prepared in fragments. They stand firmly because every aspect of themselves is trained, integrated, and attuned. Strength, clarity, and purpose emerge naturally when the whole is disciplined together. There is a weight that comes quietly, a call that does not announce itself with fanfare. To be chosen is not a gift meant to flatter or elevate. It is a responsibility that tests every layer of the self. Those who are called cannot ignore the summons without consequence. Yet the act of listening is never easy. It demands courage to face the unknown, discipline to follow through, and surrender to forces larger than ego or desire. Ancient masters spoke often of this path. They did not seek recognition or comfort, but they answered the call to alignment. Every risk they took, every hardship they endured, was a lesson in trust, trust in the process, trust in training, trust in the inner compass that guides beyond fear. Sacrifice was not a burden, it was the forge that tempered the spirit, shaping it to act with clarity and strength when decisive moments arrived. Even in solitude, the chosen must remain vigilant. The world offers distraction, illusion, and temptation at every turn. Only those who cultivate discipline, who practice mindfulness, and who train the body and mind together can navigate these trials without losing sight of purpose. Each challenge, each hesitation confronted, each fear acknowledged and moved through becomes a step toward alignment with truth. This path is not linear. The chosen learn that mastery is not about ease or certainty. It is about consistency, presence, and readiness to act when the moment demands it. Every risk, every sacrifice, every deliberate choice strengthens the connection between intention and action, between self and higher purpose. To walk this path is to embrace responsibility fully, to accept that being chosen is not privilege, but a living, breathing practice of courage, discipline, and surrender, guiding the soul toward clarity, mastery, and fulfillment. The path of the chosen is not meant to be easy, but it is meant to awaken something deeper within you. By embracing stillness, practicing discipline, cultivating awareness, and serving beyond yourself, you learn to move through life with clarity and quiet strength. Fear and challenge will appear, as they always do, but they no longer define you. Mastery over self and alignment with forces greater than yourself become your guide. Take this message into your daily life. Pause when chaos surrounds you, act with intention when choice appears, and listen deeply to the subtle guidance within. Each small act of courage, each moment of mindful presence brings you closer to the path that is uniquely yours. Remember, the journey is not about perfection. It is about consistent practice, inner clarity, and honoring the calling you feel in your heart. Let this be a reminder that every step, no matter how quiet, matters. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If this message resonates, join our community at Shaolin Soulfire, like, subscribe, and allow these teachings to guide your daily practice. Move forward with calm, courage, and clarity, and let your inner calling lead the way.